When gospel powerhouse Tamela Mann finally broke her silence, the world stopped to listen. For years, whispers followed her about her career, her marriage to David Mann, her health, even her faith. But when she finally spoke, what she revealed left fans speechless. This wasn't just another celebrity confession, it was raw, real, and filled with truth that no one saw coming. Stay tuned, because what Tamela admitted might just change the way you see her forever. You won't believe how much her confirmation shook the gospel world, because this wasn't just another breaking story. This was personal, emotional, just another breaking story. This was personal, emotional, and raw. Tamela wasn't just a gospel singer, she was the voice that could move an entire church to tears with a single note. The kind of singer whose presence made you stop, listen, and feel something real. Her story began in Fort Worth, Texas, the youngest of 14 children, growing up in a home where love was strong, but life wasn't easy. Money was tight, and opportunities were few. Yet, even then, her gift stood out. When that little girl opened her mouth to sing in the church choir, people felt it. Her voice wasn't just beautiful, it was anointed. There was something heavenly about it, something that could reach deep into a person's soul. That undeniable gift, deep into a person's soul. That undeniable gift would one day take her far beyond her small-town roots. In the early 1990s, Tamela's life changed forever when she joined Kirk Franklin and the Family. Those years shaped her into the powerhouse we know today. Songs like Now Behold the Lamb became timeless, and her voice pure, commanding, unforgettable captured hearts. And her voice pure, commanding, unforgettable captured hearts across the world. But with recognition came whispers. Some said she was destined for more, that she wouldn't stay in the group forever. Others began talking about her personal life, especially her deepening connection with David Mann. Fans wondered if their marriage could withstand the pressures of fame, constant touring, and the challenges of raising a blended family in the spotlight. And here's where the story takes a surprising turn, because while the public saw the picture-perfect couple's smiles on stage, laughter and interviews behind closed doors, the cracks were already starting to form. Tensions were building quietly, and what was coming next would shake both their faith and their future. As time went on, Tamela's journey began to outgrow the walls of gospel music. Alongside her husband, David Mann, she stepped into a whole new world, the world of Tyler Perry Productions. Their unforgettable roles as Cora Simmons and Mr. Brown didn't just make audiences laugh, they made the Manns a household name. But this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. While fans adored their comedy and celebrated their success, quiet whispers started spreading once again. Some in the gospel community accused Tamela of drifting away from her divine calling. Others claimed she was compromising her faith by working in Hollywood. And as her fame continued to rise, a new kind of attention followed, this time focused on her health. People watched her weight fluctuate and began to speculate, wondering if there was something more going on behind the scenes, something she wasn't saying out loud. It was ironic, even as she stood center stage, accepting awards, releasing chart-topping hits like Take Me to the King, and performing before thousands, the rumors never seemed to fade. Was her marriage really as strong as it looked? Was her health quietly failing? And was her faith still unshakable? Or was the pressure starting to take its toll? Then came the moment no one saw coming. Tamela finally broke her silence. She admitted that some of those whispers weren't entirely wrong. Behind the radiant smile and powerhouse vocals, she had been fighting silent battles that nearly broke her spirit. Battles with her body, her confidence, and her faith. But it was what she said next that truly stunned everyone and changed how the world saw her forever. Fans were left stunned by her further revelations, as they confirmed not only her music but also her survival, faith, and honesty. Without examining Tamela's marriage to David Mann in greater detail, it would be impossible to comprehend her confirmation. For many years, their relationship was one of the most talked about topics in the gospel community. Their love story had been intertwined with their careers from the start. When they first met as youngsters, their relationship swiftly developed into something more. But there were difficulties along the way. As a young wife, Tamela had to take on the responsibilities of both wife and stepmother when David entered the marriage with children from past marriages. Even though she loved her family, the difficulties of juggling their lives nearly tore them apart during those formative years. You won't believe how hard that was for her. Around this time, rumors began to circulate regarding their marriage. According to others, Tamela couldn't endure a relationship with so many obligations. Others said they would eventually be caught up in David's history. However, the men decided to react in this way. Let me tell you, they continued to struggle for their love rather than allowing the voices to destroy them. They later acknowledged that some evenings were tense, even when disagreements and miscommunications caused them to doubt everything. There were times when leaving felt like the simpler option. However, they remained. This is where things get intriguing because, despite the fact that their marriage had flaws, they never let the world see them completely. They were together behind the curtain on stage. They were putting in more effort than ever to maintain their house. New speculations emerged as their careers expanded thanks to Tyler Perry's productions. Supporters questioned whether they were showcasing their marriage purely for publicity. Some thought their missionary dedication was being overshadowed by their jobs in comedy and television. This is the startling part, though. They were being accused of selling out at the same time. The audience was unaware of the financial strain, therapy sessions, and health issues that Tamela and David were secretly dealing with. On TV, their grins served as a cover for what was actually going on. Even when the rumors grew louder, they continued to support one another. The most bizarre part was when Tama later disclosed that she and David had repeatedly reached breaking points throughout those years. Nobody would have been shocked if they had simply left. But when they decided to cling more tightly rather than let go, fate took a surprising turn. Tama acknowledged that the things that kept them together were prayer, perseverance, and an unwavering faith that God still had a plan for their marriage. Even though their romance appeared to be flawless on the surface, her recent confirmation showed that it had been a difficult and scarred journey, one in which their survival depended solely on their faith and will. Her health and metamorphosis were the two aspects of Tamela Mann's life that generated the most conversation. Fans have been noticing her size since the start of her career, and it has been a frequent topic of conversation. While some questioned whether she could manage the responsibilities of performing, touring, and acting with so much strain on her health, others applauded her for having body confidence. You won't believe the extent of this pressure's actual impact on her, because behind the stage, Tama was bearing quiet pain while the world witnessed her strong voice. Tamela said that she has battled with her weight for years. Although food provided solace during stressful times, it also presented health challenges. The weight affected her knees and her capacity to provide her best effort as she proceeded on her trek. This is how things started to change, I tell you. She underwent knee replacement surgery in 2019. Fans were taken aback. Many were unaware of the extent of the anguish she had endured for so long. It suddenly became evident that appearance was not the only factor at play. It was a matter of survival. This is the startling part, though. The rumors resurfaced anew when Tama chose to join Weight Watchers and openly embark on her weight loss journey. She was questioned by some, who said it was just another celebrity transaction. Others conjectured that she had undergone surgery in secret and was concealing it. This is when things start to get interesting, since Tamela decided to be open about the murmurs rather than ignore them. She explained to individuals that hard effort, prayer, and discipline were the reasons behind her transformation, which wasn't quick or simple. She acknowledged that she occasionally stumbled, battled cravings, and even broke down in tears when she felt like her progress was too sluggish. The most absurd thing was that rumors continued to spread even after she publicly shared her experience and shed almost 50 pounds. Some admirers thought there might be more to her narrative. They speculated that she might be concealing a terrible illness that she didn't want the world to know about. Others said that her dramatic change was actually caused by the stress of her marriage and work. When Tama eventually acknowledged that her health journey had involved more than just weight, fate took a surprising turn. She acknowledged that she had been carrying emotional and physical difficulties for years. She had to wake up and fight for her life as a result of those difficulties. People were astonished by her candor because it proved that the rumors weren't entirely false. She had more in mind than just looking good on stage. Her goal was to live a longer life, to survive, and to be there for her family. There was no makeover here. She had to fight for her future. Tama was dealing with much more personal issues behind the scenes. Even as the public celebrated her metamorphosis, obstacles related to her identity as a gospel figure, her faith, and her physical health. It wouldn't be Tamela's trip without discussing her beliefs, because her spiritual life served as the cornerstone for all she had to deal with, including her marital difficulties, health issues, and professional demands. Faith had been her rock from the beginning. However, you'll be shocked to learn how much criticism she received from the same gospel group that had praised her. Some religious leaders and pastors muttered that she had gone too far into Hollywood when she and David started working with Tyler Perry. They claimed she was eschewing sanctity for celebrity. Nevertheless, her roles offered millions of admirers solace, humor, and a fresh take on the themes of faith and family. This is how things became tricky, I tell you. Millions of people worldwide were impacted as her song, "Take Me to the King" made its way onto the mainstream Christian charts. The song became an anthem in churches all around the world and healed hearts. This is the startling part though. Critics in gospel circles accused her of being too commercial and of abandoning her roots for fame, while supporters were chanting her song in devotion. The fascinating part comes next. Since Tamela subsequently acknowledged the depth of those criticisms, she acknowledged that there were times when she wondered if she was living up to God's expectations or if she was failing the community in which she was raised. The most absurd aspect was that when Sarah and David shared their lives with the world on her reality program, The Manns, people believed they were pursuing celebrity instead of ministry. Tamela, however, made it clear that this openness was not for show. It was about being honest, that even gospel families faced hardships and had to struggle to maintain their faith. When Destiny revealed that she had struggled with uncertainty, fear, and the pressure of public opinion behind her most powerful ministry moments, her path took an unexpected turn. Despite her faith, she occasionally questioned God about why her struggles were so frequent and why her journey had to be so difficult. Nevertheless, something strong was demonstrated by her confirmation. She emphasized to her followers that faith was never about being flawless. The key was perseverance. She acknowledged that she was scarred and had experienced difficult times, but she also demonstrated how her grace and fortitude got her through them. The narrative was unique because a Tamela Mann, who was regarded as an unflappable lady, eventually revealed the truth. Even the most powerful voices in the gospel can face difficulties, have doubts, and still remain strong. She remained strong despite her candor. She became more motivating, relatable, and real as a result. Ultimately, her tale was important because of the whispers that previously attempted to define her. She was more than just an actress, singer, or David Mann's wife. She was a woman of faith who had persevered through hardships, rumors, and conflicts and yet made the decision to stand up for what was right. Fans were in awe of that fact more than anything else, because Tamela's affirmation demonstrated that true strength arises when you choose to use your wounds as a source of witness rather than conceal them.